All right, guys. So this is Andrew from Bearable Traders. I have with me right now Carlos Moreta. Carlos is one of our traders that has been with us for for a while, and recently he posted a couple of his trades, live trades with his Speed Trader account, and we got a lot of positive feedbacks from the way that he's trading and how fast he's improving. So we decided to have a chat with him and pick up his brain on some of the some of the challenges and ups and downs that he had into trading, and maybe we can become some sort of inspiration, or helping other new traders who are taking this route. So Carlos, can you please start. You can maybe start from a little bit of background, and how long have you been trading? How long did you do simulation, and how did you get involved in trading in first place?
Yeah, so I did simulation and trading about 7 months after I found your program. Prior to that, I was trying to get into day trading because my brother was doing options, so I was interested in day trading. But I was working a 9 to 5 job, so I couldn't really get involved as much as I wanted to. So I did started trading with a different community before, but nothing like detail. It was not as detailed as I found your book at that time. So what I did was I started trading, and I started live right away on with TOS, Think or Swim, and I lost about $700. I immediately stopped trading, and what I did was I started searching for there's got to be a better way. I just didn't know what I was doing at that time. So I found your book on Amazon. I read the reviews; they were amazing. So I started I started getting more interest in trading in that type of style, and that's how I got into trading after having an interest from my brother and things like that.
What kind of stocks are you trading? Are you low float stock or medium float stocks? How do you define yourself as a trader?
I define myself. I try to stay away from low flow stocks. I think they just require a higher level of expertise that I don't have yet. I think there is potential to make money there, but you really have to know what you're doing. So right now I'm specializing on mid and large flow stocks. Those are the ones that I have the most gain on and the most profitability. So those seem to be the ones that are working well for me now.
And you mentioned that you traded on a simulator for 7 months.
Correct.
How was that experience? I mean, how did you really treat your simulation? Did you trade large size, a small size? How did you try to maximize your education and simulation?
Well, I did exactly what I was thinking of doing when I went live with real money. So I was trading a $25,000 account, actually the one from Interactive Brokers. I signed up with them in their simulation. I went through the whole entire platinum package with our community, and I started trading small size at that time. I was becoming very successful in the simulation, so I started increasing my size and doing like 20% of my buying power or 40% of the buying power as I got better in the simulation. So I did treat it as a real account. Some of the challenges in the simulation is that the emotions are not there. So I did notice that in some cases I would let the trades go beyond the stop loss, because again, there's no risk. So that's something you got to be very careful with. But the simulation is key to success because I learned about the hotkeys. I learned about how to work the program, and how to make sure I'm executing correctly.
Excellent. And what about when you transitioned from simulation to live? How was that? I mean, did you start right away with big share size, or you started slow and increased slowly? How was that transition?
Yeah, I definitely started with small size because I still remember the first day I went live. I mean, I was completely nervous. I think I was at my desk 2 hours before the bell just to be as ready as possible. And just your nerves kind of take over. It's the first day you doing this. You have practice over and over again, but once you go live, it's a whole different ball game. So I definitely went with small size. In some cases, I hesitated getting into trades. In other cases, I just was waiting to follow other people at first because I was just insecure in my strategy and my skills at that time.
What about the psychology? What was the psychology aspect when you went live? Um, did you do anything to get a better control of your emotions?
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing I did was once I started consistently not losing money where it's like, okay, I'm losing, $100, 150 this day, the next day 200. It started affecting me mentally on like, okay, I'm losing confidence in the skills I have been practicing for the last 7 months. I mean, what's happening? So I kind of took a step back and started reading more into some of the books that we have listed on the site on BearboardTraders.com about psychology. So, for example, Trading in the Zone was a great book for me. I mean, that put things into perspective of things that I was doing mentally that I was not supposed to. And after the simulation, you think you're ready, and you say, hey, I'm doing great. I'm doing $1,000 in simulation. I'm doing 500 a day. And the confidence builds up. But once you go live, the mental part was something that even now is still a challenge that you have to try to work on every day.
Nice. I see on the background you have a whiteboard, and I
Oh
see
yeah,
some sort of
famous
trading
whiteboard.
rules. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that I can read some of that. I don't know, in the video people might not be able to see. Can you say something about the trading rules that they created? You don't need to go into the details, but it seems that, for example, you see something ends at 11:30 a.m. or max loss
Yes.
only $1,000.
Yes.
Can you give us some
A-
insight into
a-
that?
Absolutely. So what I did was, before having this board here, I was having the journal. We can get more into the journal that I keep. But in my journal, I took the things that I was not doing well and say, okay, these are the things I need to improve on. And I noticed, for example, trading inside 11:30, on the days I was trading past the open, past 11:30, I was losing money or taking trades that were not good quality or a good risk to reward ratio. So no matter if I'm having a great morning, if I make, $800 that morning and I'm in the zone, I feel like, wow, every trade I'm taking is going the right way. After 11:30, what I'm doing now is I'm not following my strategies. I'm just guessing to see, okay, what's moving the right way, looking for the next alert. So mentally what that does when I have a red day, I continue to trade and just make that day even worse. So now 11:30, after that, I know I'm not following a good strategy. And there's other things on there, like my daily goal is 500. No holding anything overnight. That could mess with with the psychology part as well. At the beginning, I will hold something overnight, hoping and wishing that it will come back to my entry point where I can break even, or even even further down, so I could come out with a gain. So those are the 7 rules I have there that kind of keep me in check.
That's great. I'm actually very impressed. This is the first time I see that, and I think these are really really great points. Usually in the afternoon, or in the late morning, because the volatility comes down. I don't know. Maybe computers are taking over, or maybe we are become emotionally exhausted and mentally exhausted. We start seeing patterns that they don't exist, or the
Exactly.
patterns that or they are, as you mentioned, they don't have a good risk to reward. But because we are mentally exhausted, we can't really recognize those patterns. I myself as well. I in the chat room try to really do the recap and shut down my platform. Uh, that doesn't mean that there is no opportunity to trade in the afternoon. I believe there is a lot of opportunity, but statistically, most of the retail traders lose money in the afternoon.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's still money can be made. I try to stay away from when I hit my daily goal. What about, you mentioned journaling? What about, can you mention about how you journal your trades?
Yeah, so what I do now is I have a Microsoft OneNote, and what I do on there is and I got this from a book, The Daily Coach. It's a book that I also read
Yeah.
when I was having a hard time getting good trades when I started live. So I wasn't doing a journal back in simulation, and I wish I did, because I could have picked up on some things that I did after I went live. So I started doing my journal as soon as I went live, and I realized, okay, I'm having issues getting good quality trades, and it's not my skills, it's just my mental part. It's not aligned with what I'm trying to do. So I keep a journal of every morning when I wake up and get in my trading desk, I put on there, how I feel. Did I get a good rest? Did I get a good night's sleep? Did I overeat the night before? So these are things that we also got from your book. I also got as well, that you have to keep track on. How do I feel mentally? Am I tired? Did I have a bad day yesterday, that a red day, which I'm now trying to make up for? So kind of get a check on how your mental state is. Then from there, I'm tracking every single trade. I track exactly my entry points. Did I follow my rules? Did I stop out when I was supposed to? What I did well, and then also what I can improve on this trade. Because in every trade you do something well, and it's important for you to put that on there so you know, hey, it's not all bad. This stuff I did well, maybe I didn't have a good entry point. I was not supposed to be in that trade. But you know what? When the stop loss came in, I did get stopped out. So you did that well. And that has helped me a lot because, again, this is how every week I review this journal, and then I come up with things I need to improve. So, for example, at the end of this week, I'll review what I did right and what I did wrong. And these rules might change again, saying, you know what, I'm doing this well. Let me put something on there that I still need to focus on and get right.
Exactly. That's a very great point. I think this journaling and having these certain rules are really, really important for us retail traders, because we can break any rule and nobody would notice. But if I'm a professional trader, if I'm an institutional trader, I have a risk manager. They can monitor my account every moment, and if I break any trading rule, I get fired. If
Right.
I lose maximum, more than my maximum loss, they freeze my account. They don't allow. They cut off my buying power. And that's a huge difference between institutional traders and retail traders like us, because we don't have anyone controlling us. A
Right.
lot of institutional traders, they leave their jobs and they come home and they start trading for themselves, but most of them cannot really succeed, because when they leave the office, they leave that
That
risk
control.
management, that control. They think they can get the same software and same platform, but in reality, that external discipline is gone. You have to develop this internal discipline for yourself.
Absolutely.
That's really great. I actually enjoyed seeing that. It seems that you're also working on your trading rules. What about your trading setup? I see six screen behind you.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what I have.
Uh,
So I basically, again, and this is one of the things that when I was in a previous community, in a previous chat room, it was all about the techniques. They didn't talk about, what kind of software you need to have. So I was trying to do what I'm doing now in Thinkorswim. That doesn't work. Thinkorswim doesn't have the certain hotkeys and things you need. So from our community, we got not just the techniques and the classes, we also got exactly what kind of setup you need. Now, everyone could have their different setup. That's all personal on how you feel comfortable. But starting out and not know where to start, I basically copy your setup. I have your stand. I took the 6 monitors. I have a CPU I built myself. So I didn't go cheap. I invested in the equipment. Because again, something that you mentioned in your book is, this is an investment. If you want to make money, as if you're doing, a professional career, you have to invest. You have to go to college. You have to do this.
yeah.
So same thing with trading. I invested in the equipment and I made sure I had everything ready to go to be successful.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you look at it as a business, for example, when you open a coffee shop, you can't just don't buy espresso machine because you just don't have it, or you need to have chairs, espresso machine, proper. Otherwise, you can't run your business. People, they're not coming to your shop. And trading is no different. You need to invest some, not only on education and how to do that, but also on your tools.
Correct.
That's a very great point. Yes, there is no guarantee. Maybe you invest some equipment and some education, and maybe it doesn't work. But that's a risk with any business, any career.
Any
Yeah,
career. Right.
exactly. Yeah. You mentioned, for example, other communities or other. I don't know if you took any other courses or education. Is there anything beside the community that we have and books and recommendations that we have? Is there anything else you think had a positive effect on your trading that you can give recommendation to our traders?
Well, prior to our community and your book, I mean, I really didn't get success from the other stuff I was doing. I think it was, and not saying that they were not good, it was just not my style of trading. I joined the community, and I'm not gonna mention the name because they're a good community, but they were trading penny stocks, and it was more of an alert system, not a institution of a community like we have of teaching you the right way to do it and how to think for yourself. It was like, hey guys, let's go get it now. Okay, I got in with Thinkorswim. By the time the instructor was pulling out and saying, okay, I made this much, great, I'm leaving for the day, you know, I'm still in the trade, losing money going the other way. So it was not the type of trading or the type of education that I was looking for. And this is what made me think, wait, there has to be a better way to do this. If people are doing it, you know, has to be a better way to do it. So this is what made me think, okay, I got to start searching for what fits my personality and my criteria of trading.
Exactly. So that's it has to be a systematic way that you become independent thinker. I mean,
Correct.
maybe you can get lucky few times following other people, but
Hmm.
you know, we always emphasize that you have to be independent thinker. Even if you think the sound or chat or a screen share would distract you, you know, just shut it down or put it on mute or don't look at it and try to be independent.
Correct.
Um, so, what about your favorite strategy? I mean, what type of a strategy you use most? What kind of setup you like? Is there any? Do you have that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. My favorite one and the one that I notice I'm more profitable on is the opening range break up or break down. I mean, that setup is so clear sometimes, and the more I focus on that one specific setup, the more I start seeing how the characteristics and how it behaves. So the opening range is by far my favorite setup to trade.
Nice. Um, yeah, that's it. I myself also take a lot of opening range breakdowns and breakups, and I think if you have the right stock, sometimes they can become really really clear. I
Correct.
do agree with you on that. How many stocks do you put on your watch list? I know it depends on the day, but what's the typical average number of stocks you're watching?
I put about six. Six. I'm very comfortable with six. I do have other screens I can put an extra, maybe two more. But I usually try to put six. And in some cases, like today, we have plenty of stocks on our watch list. Um, I since I don't do the low flow stocks, I keep those will be the last ones on my watch list. So I'll first put the mid and the large, and if I have space in my screens for the low flows, then I'll add those on as well, just to get an idea of eventually how that's moving. I might not trade it, but it's good to see just to see how other people are trading it.
Nice. And what about the criteria that you're choosing those stocks? Are they based on gappers that I do, or do you have any different way of finding the stocks?
No, I'm doing the gappers the same way you do. Yeah. So
Nice.
what I'll do is I'll log in the morning. I try to do my watch list before you do yours, and then once you come on, I kind of compare your feedback to my feedback and say, you know what, you called something that I didn't, and that's the one thing about the community that's great, that is we're all independent, but at the same time, somebody could call something out that you might have missed, whether during the trading day or before the trading starts. So that's something that I encourage everyone to be in a community, whether this one or another one. You have to be part of a group because two more set of eyes is better than two.
Nice. No, that's 100% right. Um, how many tickets, how many trades you take per trade? I know sometimes you scale out based on the video that you have, but
Yes.
do you know on average how many tickets you have? How many times you pay commission?
Yeah, on average, I'll have about, on a really clean day, I could have about 20 tickets, 15 to 20 tickets. And mainly because I'm scaling out, which I think is a strategy that's working very well for me. On a day where it's more busier or I'm getting stopped out, it can be up to 30 tickets.
Okay.
But usually between 15 on a good day and about 30 on a busy day.
Yeah. And you're with the Speed Trader, that's your broker,
Yes.
and you're using DOS platform.
Yes, correct.
How's your experience with DOS as the platform and Speed Trader as the broker?
DAS is amazing. I mean, coming from Thinkorswim few months ago before I found your book, I mean, it's very simple. It's clear. You don't need all the fancy stuff. I used to love Thinkorswim, and when I went to DAS, I was like, oh, this is so plain and boring. But sometimes that's what you need. You just need the right tools to get the job done. So I love the simplicity. You don't have all this data in front of you. You just have what you need. So it helps me focus on what I need to see. And as for Speed Trader, so far they have been really good. My fills have been amazing. Prior to Speed Trader, I started the year with Interactive Brokers, and they were very good as well. So
Yeah.
these are very two good brokers. I only switched over because with the style I'm trading, Speed Trader now is more efficient for me when it comes to cost.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, because you're taking large size, and I assume you are on a flat rate commission. Yeah, 295.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. So interactive brokers, if you charge you per share, if you take large size, you might get you pay more commission. But Speed Trader has the option of 295 flat for our community members, and yeah, for people who take large sizes, it would be really good. And you mentioned something about simplicity. I personally believe that people take trading way more complicated than it should be.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be that complicated because it seems a very complicated, you know, career. People think they should add more indicators. They should be
Right.
something that nobody else knows. But I think people really make it way more complicated than it really should be. I 100% believe in that.
Correct. Correct.
What about the indicators that you use on your chart? I saw your recap. It seems that you're using only VWAP and a couple of moving averages. Do you
Yeah,
use any other?
that's basically it. And then the support lines that we do based on the daily charts, just to build some possible resistance or target levels. That's all I'm using. Very clean. And again, in the past, I used to believe in, you got to do trend lines this way and that way. And in one of your classes, you made a great point where, hey, look at this chart from this time frame. It looks this way, and from the different time frame, it looks that way. So that's all, all mental. But I think what I'm doing now is so clean. I just love that setup.
Nice, excellent. Now, that was a really, really great point. So it seems that you trade very close to me.
Yes.
Which is very interesting. So when you're defining daily goal for yourself, do you define dollar value or percentage wise? For me, usually I'll make a little bit of money, but I have a percentage of my account in my mind. I don't expect everyone can make the same amount of money that I make or you make, because people
Correct.
have different. What is your goal? How did you come up with that $500?
Yeah. So when I first started out, it was only $300 to $100. If I could make $100 or even be green for the day, that was perfect. That was my goal. Not thinking about the commission or anything like that. As I got better, it started evolving. So what I did was, when I got really confident at one point, so what, it's gonna be $1,000. So I'm doing so good, I'm gonna put $1,000. Then I realized I was trying so hard to get to that $1,000 a day, to the point that I was taking bad trades now that were not good, good risk to reward or just a good strategy. So what I did was I brought it back down to 400. Then I realized I was making about 500 to 600, and then I was completely stopping. Or if I get to 400, I was stopping the trade and leaving some opportunities that were out there just because I hit my goal. So what I'm doing now is I put 500. I think that's a good number. But if there's some good opportunities out there, I will still keep trading past that 500. Now, what I will not do is I will not trade, past my maximum loss.
Nice. Something that I want to ask you, a lot of people are asking me, emailing me, that they say day trading is impossible. The computers have made the market, it's impossible for retail traders make any money. What do you think about that? I mean, you had up and downs in the market. Do you really think you can find consistency in the market?
Absolutely. You could definitely find consistency. Anyone that has been, and I've seen videos like that myself, again, and this is something anybody that's starting out has to be very careful with, because I did it too. When I had a few 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row where they were red days starting out, I started looking for, day trading videos on YouTube, and you find people saying, hey, you should never day trade, you're going to lose your money, instead do this. And that's so false. I mean, you gotta give it time. You have to go through the process. Like you mentioned, you have to go through a learning curve. You have to be patient, and there is a way to be consistent. If not, we wouldn't be doing this. So you just have to get through that learning curve and just be patient and just follow your rules. I think people that have this notion of, hey, this is not possible, you're gonna lose your money, you're gonna blow up your account. They probably tried it. They didn't follow their steps. They didn't give it time. They were not patient. And they just threw their hands up and say, I blew up my account. This doesn't work. And even now, I meet people that I'm like, hey, what are you doing? You looking for work? I'm like, no, I'm still day trading. Everything's going good. Oh, their eyes open up. Oh, day trading. I'm like, so I just changed the conversation because I know I'm not going to get anywhere there.
No, that's excellent. And so you are now full-time pretty much? Or
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing because it seems that you get into a full-time trading faster than me. I took
Well, I
I
had a great teacher, so that helps.
oh, thank you, appreciate it. But yeah, when I was trading, trading in a couple of hours in the morning, and then I had to go to work because I wasn't really consistent enough to make a living out of trading. But I am in the West Coast, so my time starts. Market opens 6:30 a.m. In the
Right.
morning, so I had the privilege or to the opportunity to trade up to 8 o'clock in the morning and then just get to work.
Perfect.
Was there any aha moment for you that wow, that's something that for me, for example, when I switched my platform to DAS, that was one of the aha moments for me. Wow, that's the way you should trade. Wow, did you
Right.
have such a moment?
Yeah, my moment was I when I realized it's good to get stopped out. You have to get stopped out. You have to have a stop loss in mind. You have to have a plan. I was going into trades and not having a stop loss in mind and just kind of winging it. And as the price went down or it ticked back up, oh, there's a chance it's going to go back up and it came back down. Oh, there's a chance it's going to come back up and it came back down. Then when I realized, you know what, just get out and just wait for the next opportunity. Well, once I started doing that, I was getting stopped out. I realized, a weight is lifted off your shoulders. You're not holding on to a losing trade. So to me, that was like an aha moment.
Wow.
I was not thinking about the commission. Oh, I don't want to lose the commission. Let me at least make the commission. Forget all that. Just get stopped out and just be available for the next opportunity.
Well, that's a great point. The fact that you accept stopping out is part of the process, and it's okay to get stopped out. There's nothing personal. It doesn't mean that you're not a stupid. It doesn't mean that you don't know what
Hmm.
you're doing. It's just the nature of the trading. You get stopped out.
Correct.
You clear your mind. You have a buying power to get into another trade. But if you
Correct.
stick into a losing trade, then all of your buying power is stuck into that losing trade. And even if it's better opportunity, you can't go because you're stuck in that. You don't have any more buying power to trade anything else. Um,
Correct.
that was a really great moment. And I think commissions are sometimes annoying, but they're not really that bad. I mean, $2,
Right.
$3 you pay, you get
Right.
out of a trade, and it's $2, $3. Let's say $3. It's not really as bad as two hundred
Correct.
dollars loss or $500 loss. I had a trader emailed me and he said I lost 4,300, $4,300 in one day, and then he was annoyed from the commissions and he was going to email the broker that I'm not trading with you anymore because your commissions are high. And I didn't say that to him, but in my mind that you lost $4,000 in a day and you're bothered with $2 commission,
Yeah, no
your
way.
problem is not the commission.
Right. There's bigger problems.
Exactly. That was a great moment. The fact that you accepted the process, getting out of a trade, and then reevaluating the market and getting into another opportunity. I think that was a great point. You mentioned a couple of times about the process of trading, and that I want to pick up on that again because this is
Sure.
something that I think is very important. From having a right setup behind you, that's the first step. The having the right tools, and then having the right knowledge and education, and then even having the psychology, and even after the trade going through to your trades and journaling. These are all part of a process. Most of the
Correct.
people are just desperately looking for a one good strategy. They're looking for a strategy that is profitable, but they
Hmm.
miss the fact that having the right tool, platform, as you mentioned, these are all part of the process. um,
Correct. Correct.
I think that was a great point you mentioned, and it seems that you, as a a developing trader, really have found that okay, you need to follow the process.
Yes. Yes. There's no skipping it. Like, and you say it in your book. There's a learning curve. You're either gonna make it really hard for you or you're gonna make it really easy. So, but there's no skipping it. There's gonna be a learning curve, and you need to be patient enough to get through that curve.
Excellent. Is there any advice you can give to people who are watching this, um, either through our community or people in general, who are interested in day trading or they have started day trading? Do you have any general advice?
Yeah. My advice is, just stick to it. Be disciplined. I know that's easier said than done, but you need to be able to be patient with yourself. Again, the market is very unpredictable. You're gonna have those days where you're getting a trade and it goes completely against you, you know, and it can happen over several days. Take small size starting out, you know, feel what it is to have some skin in the game, and you know, and get your mind, you know, knowing that, okay, you know, I know how I'm gonna react when I have a red day, and just kind of stay disciplined, be patient. You have to be patient and get to this learning curve.
Excellent. I mean, that's great. I really don't have any other question on my list. Is there anything else that you want to mention? Any points? Any final points?
No, I just think that that we have a great community. You know, I'm glad I found the barebootTraders.com, and I think we have an excellent group. And just for everyone that, you know, if they need any help and have any questions, you know, I'm on the chat room almost every morning, so you can reach out to me. I can help as much as I can.
Excellent. And I also thank on behalf of the community from your contributions. I know you're really active on the forum, and also you're coming early in the morning in the chat. I myself, I'm always late, but you come early.
It's
I see.
the time frame you're in. I mean, that's early.
Yeah, no, I appreciate for what all what you're doing for the community, and we get a lot of positive feedbacks on your recap. And you know, I just wanted to encourage you post more recaps. I don't, you know,
Absolutely.
whenever you feel comfortable, I don't want you to, you know, put a pressure on you. Every time you see a nice trade and there's something we can learn, you know, feel free to record a recap for us. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely, sure will.
Excellent, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching. This is Andrew from Bareboot Traders, and we just discussed with Carlos M. We had a quick interview with Carlos. We got a lot of interesting points. I'll see you tomorrow morning in the chat. And yeah, if you have any question, email me andrew@barebootTraders.com. Goodbye, guys. Goodbye, Carlos. Thank you very much.
Bye.